Alright gang, here we are. We're going to walk through this new interface. This is the same buttons that we would have had before, but now they're linked to a new version of MindTap. The publisher has broken ties with a third-party vendor they utilized, which ended up breaking the version of MindTap that I had before. Not just me, but everybody. And they just didn't let anybody know that they had transitioned and that some courses would not transition. So I've got it to where the course is linked to a valid version of MindTap. The exercises are going to be there so that when I click on this link, it looks like a button. It is a button, but it's a link. It's going to enable a pop-up. Got to have pop-ups enabled. And then that will now take us to a different destination, a third-party destination, than previously. So it gave us a splash screen, said, hey, don't mess with this until you're done over here. Now, the over here part, the first time you come over here, you will have to connect your GitHub account. And I sent everybody a message, got it in the course to ensure that you have an account at github.com. Once you've got an account at github.com, you link your account to code spaces in this pass-through right here. If I had not been in here yet, it would have prompted me, hey, log into your GitHub so we can connect our GitHub account with yours and share what you need to do the work you got to do. Now, by default, this will have looked like this when we start. And one of the things we've got to get used to with this is we've got to be patient. And I'm hoping my just changing this did not throw a wrench in what I've got going over here, because I may have to restart this. Yeah, I'm gonna. Let me go ahead and reload the page. This system is far more sensitive than the previous ones. And it'll come over and throw some warnings while it's loading this companion page. Well, the first go, it didn't happen. Now I got my companion page loaded up. So I've got the basics that they provided us, and I've got this telling me, hey, we need to access or connect the two aspects of GitHub. One being the companion for this assignment in code spaces. So I go ahead and click continue. And the two of them can talk. I've got no worries with it. I've already run this. This would just be gray. I already run this when I recorded this video without sound. So this is the probably fourth time that I've had to do this. Other times I had issues with the system. Finally got the system working right. Then, all right, here we are with audio. So they give us the directions. First rule with this, be patient with it. If it doesn't load up like this with your directions on the right, you may have to come over and click on personal info or whatever the CS file is over here. You may have to click on that, open it up so that you can edit it. I use this split screen, having frames on either side, my code in one, directions on the other. It's just like having two screens on the computer. I like to have my directions on one screen, one display, and my work on the other. So with this, they're saying, here's what they want printed. Well, come over here and code that we need in here. Save some time. So we've got 4 write line statements, as simple as we can be. This write line is console. Technically we wouldn't need write line, we could just do write, but they've still got it explicitly drilled all the way down. We're fine. So we're having console, which allows us to interact with the console down below, which I've drug it down to where we can't even hardly see it now. It's down here. And if I go to run this, it's not throwing a... It's not giving me the ability to run it here, but we'll run it over here. So I've got the code. We'll come over here. It matches this. If I want to test it, I can click here. It will then execute my code and test it to see, does it do what it's supposed to do? Doesn't really tell me anything. It is telling me some stuff in here that it's checked. In other labs that I've done, it didn't tell me anything. But here it's telling me it's running 4 tests, what the tests are. And once it's run the test, it'll come back with a green square with a white check mark in it, if it's right. If not, it'll be red. So it's stop or go. And then once that has gone through and done all of the tests, it will then come back and give us the little check mark. Then we come down here and we'll click calculate grade. Calculate grade technically goes back and runs these checks again. This is us just seeing, will it run? Will it not run? What's the deal? So it takes a while. It's a lesson in patience. So it came back and it finally got done with it. This is far, far slower of an evaluation on any of the code than the stuff we previously used with the same publisher. So from here, my grade would have still been 0 if I hadn't run it yet. I do calculate grade. It will then evaluate everything for a grade. Different functionality. One's just to see if it runs. The other one is to see what ran, what didn't, and calculate a percentage for you. Now, here's Canvas. Here's MindTap. And here's Github. And we see Github by that icon right there. So, Canvas is where we have our gradebook over here on the left. MindTap has a gradebook in it as well, but this is where the grade is coming from. They said here, do not close this, leave it there until your activity is submitted and you're done with it. So there's a linkage between these two right now. And once this has come up and it says, yep, your grade's been calculated. So now it will come up and say your current grade is 100%. That's all we need. You'll then click submit. It'll push your grade over to MindTap, which then syncs up with Canvas. If this is closed, that won't push it where it needs to go. Just remember that. All right. What you would end up needing to do is go back in again, go back in here again, open this up again, and then calculate the grade again, and then submit it. while this is open to push it on over. Everything's got to be connected. It's all links. Okay. So with that said, we got our 100%. We pushed it over. You may have to come up here and refresh. If it gets hung up, you may have to refresh this. You may have to close both of these, refresh the Canvas page, start back through again. This code will persist. Now you saw it when I jumped in here, it persisted with some code from the last time I was in and ran through. The grade persisted. So what you do sticks in here. If you run into problems here, let me know. We'll find out what's going on. These evaluations should be in there. I've gone round and round with different labs, and another course that I've got that did function right away, but not all of the labs functioned correctly or right away. So if we run into problems with labs, let me know. Once you have your GitHub account set up, click and link as you go from my tab to the GitHub interface that we're using with code spaces, and it should all link and we should be good to go. All right. Appreciate your time, and I'll see you in the course.